went to college in Richmond, and love to be back here in Virginia. So thanks to everybody for coming out. We're excited to be here. We're happy Tommy's here, healthy. Everything's going pretty good so far.
Now the big question is, are you here to win the inaugural event, or are you here for the money? Which one is it?
What's the matter, man? We want both.
Always good to have Doug Kobe here. He's going to be a threat when we go green this afternoon, of course, in this 7NY car with Tommy Baldwin Racing.
Yeah, and I forgot that Doug Kobe is a Richmond Spider. It's been a long time since we discussed that, but Kobe definitely one of the best in the business.
Oh, he had to bring that up. You know, this is Hokie country.
Okay.
And you know, I've been a Hokie all my life. And I remember in football when the Richmond Spiders would come to Blacksburg and beat us in football. So he just had to throw that out there.
Well, you know, I mean, he's a smart guy, you know, made a lot of money there in the real estate business, and then obviously became one of the best ever to sit behind the wheel of one of these modifieds.
We're delighted to have him here, man. It's awesome.
Doug Kobe, 35 wins on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. One more championship than one of my favorites growing up, Tony Hirschman, a 5-time NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour champion. And Tony's son, Matt Hirschman, of course, with us, a former SMART winner here at South Boston Speedway, and one of the best in modifieds. Both Doug Kobe and Matt Hirschman, both in attendance. Kobe from Connecticut, and then from Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, is Matt Hirschman. But if you look at all these cars here, beautiful machines. These are unlike, you know, any other race car that you see across the United States. Those open-wheeled cars with the big Nerf bars on the side, 15-inch tires, and 600 horsepower lurking underneath the hood.
Just inches off of the racetrack as well. Very little travel, so it's hard to get these cars to rotate and plant that rear end and boogie down the back straightaway, man, because you have so much tire, so much horsepower, and they're light as well. They're lighter than a late model. And you mentioned Matt Hirschman a moment ago. He is the all-time qualifying record holder here for the Smart Modified Tour, the Pace-O-Matic Smart Modified Tour. 2022, 13.890 at 103.672 miles per hour. Bob, do you think it's in trouble today?
I don't know. I mean, cool temperatures this morning, but honestly, I don't believe it will be. A little bit blustery here. We talked about the wind. And as this track heats up a little bit, I mean, it definitely could. I could be wrong. But at the same time, you know, I think what we saw years ago, just a little different combination with these modifieds as well. And you can see, actually, as we prepare, the track is clear right now, but a good shot we also have on our FloRacing cameras of the tech line at South Boston Speedway. And we'll show you that as well. And there's the kid that's red hot right now, the 23 car from Lexington, North Carolina, Carson Lofton, the winner of the first 2 events of the year. And as all the cars go through the technical process prior to qualifying, they will make their way out here to the front stretch along the pit wall. And we notice right now, right before Carson Lofton got into that shot, if we widen out just a little bit, that blue car that we see there, Jim Gavick is going through the tech process. He will be the first car out to qualify. So waiting for Jim Gavick to get through qualifying tech here, and then he'll be able to go out and be the first car on the racetrack for Pace-O-Matic Pole Award qualifying.
You know, you talk about Carson Lofton. I mean, how many people that are 15 years old, young racers, that has won as a spotter with the modified and also won as a driver in the modifieds? And you think everybody says, oh, it's so impressive, 15 years old winning the first 2 races. But think about this. Here's what I see as impressive. Look how different those 2 tracks were. How you have to conserve tires. And sometimes it takes guys years to learn that at Florence, and then Caraway is so high speed. I mean, look at the difference in racetracks that he's won on. That, to me, is impressive.
And then you come to a track like this. And this track, talking to a lot of the competitors this morning, Doc, this is about momentum. So it's a little bit different than Florence. It's definitely different than Caraway. And now you have to make sure that you keep that momentum up. And sometimes charging into the corner will actually hurt that momentum that you need to keep up.
Yep, it'll make you wash up. So that's where you got to get those cars to rotate and maintain momentum. Let's go down to Derek Pernissiglio.
Thank you very much. And yeah, you guys were just talking about Matt Hirschman being down here with the black number 60. Of course, big money Matt. When the money's on the line, he always shows up. But today the temperatures are a lot cooler than we've seen in the past. Will that affect handling and the way that you guys run these cars today?
I don't think it should. This track's got a lot of grip in it. It's springtime. The tracks always intend to have more grip in the spring, so I don't think grip will be a problem. It's a fast racetrack. I think you'll see some quick times here today.
How did practice fare for you today? We know you've won 2 races here in the past, but how's the car performing?
I think we're solid, so just thank the whole team. We got great partners on board here with Mitchell's Store and Smart Ford of South Boston, right here, a local sponsor. So we got a long race ahead of us. We'll hopefully put a good lap down in qualifying, and hopefully we got a shot to win the crown today.
Well, he may be walking out of here crowned the king. He's got 2 wins here in the past. He's got the fast qualifier for the track record for this series. Matt Hirschman's definitely going to be one to watch.
The first car on the racetrack for the Systematic Pole Award qualifying now complete. Paulie Hartwig out of New Jersey in the 73. His best time, 14.240. 14.240 for Paulie Hartwig. Next up on the racetrack, taking the white flag right now, the number 22 out of Advance, North Carolina, in the Carolina Drilling race car. That's the number 22 for Jason Tutterow. Tutterow, full-time competitor in that Fury machine here on the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. Second lap on the racetrack, his best time, 14.231. 14.231 for Jason Tutterow. On top of the board he goes. Now on the racetrack, you take a look at this car. It is a sharp machine. The number 51 out of Sugarloaf, Pennsylvania, and the Katie Wolf Trucking, Kaluga Excavating, Harmon Funeral Homes. That is a 2-quick race car out of that Pennsylvania state for Jaden Harmon, the number 51 car. Jaden having Stacy Compton spot for him here today. Anybody that knows something about South Boston Speedway knows a thing or two about Stacy Compton.
Absolutely. Got his own grandstands over here. Stacy Compton to our left. David Blankenship, Elliot Stadler, Stacy Compton to our left.
And Jaden Harmon goes number 1 on the board, 14.128 for the 51 of Jaden Harmon. Now looking for a good run here in his second race of the season. Taking the white flag out of Lexington, North Carolina in the Yates Grading and Paving PSR for the number 18 of Daniel Yates. Yates first lap, 4th quick, 14.353, 14.353. Daniel Yates, second quick, second lap, 14.230, about a 1/10 of a second off of Jaden Harmon's pace. Green flag now on the racetrack for this driver. Another driver out of the great state of Connecticut. And a very familiar racing ride in Southern Modified Racing, Hillbilly Racing. This is the number 79 out of Newtown, Connecticut, and the Sun Drop 79 race car for Anthony Bello. Bello a little bit loose. One of those drivers talking about momentum here today at this racetrack. He's going to have to pick up the pace just a little bit. 14.331 first lap for Anthony Bello. Second lap, second quick. 14.128, identical time to Jaden Harmon. Tied for first here during Pace-O-Matic Pole Award qualifying. Next up on the racetrack, had a great run at Motor Mile Speedway. Last year, sat on the podium in his first ever Smart race. And the number 9 NG out of New Jersey in the Supreme Manufacturing Pete and Elda's Bar and Pizzeria LFR. That's Andrew Kraus. Andrew Kraus, very fast no matter where he goes. Top of the charts on the first lap. Can he do just a little bit better? Indeed he does. First driver in the 13-second bracket. 13.913 for Andrew Kraus in that white, blue, and black modified. Nice run for Andrew Kraus. A lot better for him than in practice earlier today. More than 30 modifieds in the house here today. Let's go down to DP, who's standing by with a very popular race car driver.
That's right. He's finished second in the last race here in the Smart Modified Tour. Has yet to go out for practice, but go out for qualifying. But Ryan Newman, you've been out on the track for practice. The temperature's rising since practice earlier today. Will that change the way you run qualifying?
No, I'm still gonna go as hard as I can. I think it was so cool that I think it's still cool. Like, it's not like it's 140-degree track temp going from 120 to 140. So I think it'll be plenty fast. As the cars run, they pick up a little bit of rubber off of the racetrack and clean it up, and feel like we're in a good spot. Got to thank Shitty Coolers, Aggressive Hydraulics, Montrose Motors, Capital Auto Group. look forward to competing in this King of the Modifieds race.
That's Ryan Newman. He's going to compete for a championship also in the Smart Modified Tour and try to walk away with a crown and a $20,000 check this afternoon.
Second quick for the 04 out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and the Q104.1 iHeartRadio Kevin Says Yes.com car. Brandon Ward time 13.937. Second quick to a 13.913 for Andrew Kraus. Now on the racetrack, he has a top 10 finish here in Smart competition just a few years ago. Driver the number 21 out of Reedy Creek, North Carolina. That's a Carolina drilling fury machine for Jimmy Wallace. Wallace hoping for a good qualifying run. This race here today, 125 laps. He's going to have to pick it up just a little bit. Slowest so far in his first lap, 14.329. 14.329 for Jimmy Wallace. Jimmy Wallace does pick it up on his second lap. He goes to third quick, 14.112 for Jimmy Wallace.
Fantastic pickup on that second lap.
Another driver we're expecting big things out of here today. He's had a tough go of it in the first two races for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic out of Oxford, North Carolina. In the Pace-O-Matic Aggressive Hydraulics PSR for SNS Racing is the 16 VA for Jonathan Cash. Jonathan Cash first lap, 14.242. Cash led laps last year in the Flying VA Classic at South Boston Speedway. Had a great run. He comes to the checkered flag in Pace-O-Matic Pole Award qualifying. Third quick for Jay Cash, 13.944. The third driver in the 13-second bracket here today during qualifying. Nice to see this next driver back with us. He is out of Shelbyville, Kentucky, and he's the 2022 Smart Modified Tour champion. Driving this Troyer for Jamie and Cheryl Tomeno, it is Caleb Heddy. Heddy, first lap, 14.022. Can't get much closer to that than the 13-second bracket. Loves South Boston Speedway. Can he get it done here on his second lap? Checkered flag is out for Caleb Heddy. 13.942. Fourth driver in the 13-second bracket. Good enough for third quick for Caleb Heddy. Now on the racetrack, you talk about families. Very impressive in Northeast Modified competition. The Barry family certainly is that. In the 8NY from Preston, Connecticut. That is a West Gilbert-owned car with Westwind Tree Farm on the side for Tyler Barry. His dad, Kenny Barry, an SK Modified winner at Stafford Motor Speedway. His granddad, Art Barry, famous for so many years as a car owner. Tyler Barry, 14.331. First lap for Tyler Barry. A little bit better on his second lap, 14.204, eighth quick. Here's a driver trying to make a name for himself here in the Southern Modified ranks this year. He's certainly done well for himself up there in the Northeast ranks. The number 27 out of Jackson, New Jersey. In that LFR with amazing graphics, DMAC Pools and Scott Cart Engineering on the side for Blake Barney. And on his first lap, fifth quick, 14.034 for Blake Barney. Let's see what he does on his second lap. Can he improve? And he does. Quick time so far for Blake Barney, 13.877 for that New Jersey Speedster. Rolling through qualifying here today. Gotta love the fast pace. Another New Jersey racer at a Freehold. And the Amerifast Supply Buddy Ellis Troyer is the 24 of Danny Bone. Danny Bone, power steering issues in practice earlier today. Bone, third quick, first lap, 13.931. Danny Bone loves South Boston Speedway. Has some experience here with the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. Checkered flag is out for Bone. Best lap, first lap. He will remain third quick, the 24 of Danny Bone. Now on the racetrack, in the number 25, that's the Mark III Financial Units Moving and Storage Buzzy Racing Troyer machine out of Maiden, North Carolina. It's Tommy Buzzy Jr. Tommy Buzzy hoping to bounce back after a couple of tough outings. First lap, 14.032. 14.032 for Tommy Buzzy. Seventh quick. Best lap is the first lap for Tommy Buzzy in that Andretti prepared race car. Here's a driver that Derek Bernasiglio talked to just a little while ago. None better, really, right now in modified competition other than this guy. Doug Kobe out of Milford, Connecticut in the Dominion Energy. Mohawk Northeast, Willwood Brakes Racing Electronics, PSR. Kobe to the top of the board on his first lap. 13.849 for Doug Kobe. Again, first lap is the best lap, but he's on top of the board. Out of Connecticut, it's Doug Kobe getting the job done so far here in qualifying. Now, you talk about a driver who has been so dominant over the last decade in modified racing. Out of Northampton, Pennsylvania in the Smart Ford, Mitchell Store, Boykin Spaniel Rescue, Collier Trucking, Florida Connection, Long Island Mod Maniac, Hirschman Garage and Speed Troyer. It's Matt Hirschman. And Matt Hirschman, numero uno in qualifying, 13.713. Even better, by 1/1000th of a second on his second lap, Matty Hirschman, 13.712. Fast time so far here in qualifying. Rolling right along out of Walnut Cove, North Carolina, and the Carolina Drilling, Greg Butcher Trucking, QRC HVAC and Refrigeration, PSR for the number 4 of Jason Myers, the working man, trying to get the job done. 2 pole awards for him last year at Smart Modified Tour competition. Myers, first lap, 14.098. Second lap for Jason Myers, second quick, 13.840 for the 4 of Jason Myers. This guy hoping for a turnaround here today as well. Was very good in practice. He's in the Ideal Comfort Heating and Air. Number 45 PSR out of Burlington, North Carolina for Gary Young Jr. Young, 14.226 on his first lap. Black and orange adorn the side of this race car here this year for Gary Young. And he approves 15th quick, 14.226 for Gary Young Jr. Green flag back in the air. Not many better than this guy right here at Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut. He has won 83 races at that beautiful facility right outside of Hartford, Connecticut. It's Woody Pitcat in the 88. That Brookfield Glass Nelson Roofing Machine. Pitcat, 10th quick, first lap. 13.953 for Woody Pitcat. He comes around to take the checkered flag, hoping to do just a little bit better. And he does. Third quick, 13.845 for Woody Pitcat out of Stafford Springs, Connecticut. Now on the racetrack in the number 66 car. This driver out of Danielville, Pennsylvania in the Lloyd Kitts Industrial Services Machine for Austin Kochnash. Austin joined us at Caraway Speedway just 2 weeks ago, hoping to get up there in the top 8 in qualifying. He's got 11th so far, 14.096 for Kochnash. A competitor in the ROC Modified Series. Checkered flag is out. He will remain 11th quick. 13.994 for Austin Kochnash. Couple more cars to qualify here, including this kid right here. So impressive he has been in the opening 2 races of the year. Until those first 2 races, he had never sat foot behind the wheel of a tour type modified. And now, out of Northport, New York, in the Skip Barber Racing School PSR, it's the 77NY for Will Lambros. Lambros had never seen this racetrack prior to this morning, but he's an iRacer, so I'm sure he's seated a time or two. 14.027 first lap for Will Lambros. Second lap, much better. Numero 2 for Will Lambros. 13.777. Sevens are lucky here at South Boston today.
Well, I guess that cartoon racing does pay off.
Indeed. Now at a Walnut Cove, North Carolina, the Citrus Safe Grill Cleaners, Peanut Patch Backyard Leisure Pool and Spas PSR for the number 1 of the ace, Burt Myers. Burt Myers finished on the podium last year here in the Flying VA Classic. It's been a tough opening part of the season for Burt Myers, hoping for some good fortune here today. Burt Myers, 3rd quick on his second lap, 13.811 for Burt Myers. Here's the driver that captured the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award 2 weeks ago at Caraway Speedway. Driver of the number 12 machine with Cherokee Unlimited All-American Roofing and Restoration on the side for this Troyer. It's Jake Crum. Jake Crum has always been quick in qualifying. 13.867 first lap. Comes around to the checkered flag from Jeff Punton. And Jake Crum's second lap, 13.738 second quick for Jake Crum. Still everybody trailing Matt Hirschman at a 7.12. This guy could get it done, driving the number 2 car with Randy Renfro, Shitty Coolers, Capital Automotive Group, Aggressive Hydraulics, Montrose Molders Corporation. For this BSR, it's Ryan Newman. Newman made a name for himself in the Cup Series as a fast qualifier, 13.846, 7th quick first lap for Flying Ryan. Second lap for Ryan Newman, 5th quick, 13.831 for Newman. Here comes the number 1 PA car out of Newtown, Connecticut. In the Harry's You Pull It Newtown Pools, Frazosa Trucking, Karchner Warehousing Machine. That's Steven Kopchik. Kopchik, great run at Motor Mile last year in his first ever smart start. Kopchik hoping for a good run here in qualifying as well. 18th quick first lap, 0.63. Needs to do better. And he does. 5th quick, 13.817 for Steven Kopchik. Here's one of the rising young stars of modified racing out of Mooresville, North Carolina, in the Pace-O-Matic Stanley Law Group Mohawk Northeast PSR for Luke Baldwin in the 7VA. Baldwin, 2 top 10 finishes to start the season for his rookie campaign. Baldwin to the top of the board on his first lap, 13.610 for Luke Baldwin. And that will remain the top time so far. Luke Baldwin, 17 years old. So far, quickest in qualifying for the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award. Out of Miami Springs, Florida, and this Torch Eyewear, Molecule, Air Shock, Drive Refine, SRI Performance, Bilstein Shocks, Fury Machine, for former NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, or I should say Craftsman Truck Series, winner for Joey Coulter. Change a lot of sponsors like we change your underwear sometimes.
Some more than others.
Coulter on the racetrack, 2 wins in the Smart Modified Tour in his career. Coulter, first lap, 9.67. Second lap, it'll be a little bit better, but not where he wants to be. 13.939, best lap on the second lap for Joey Coulter, 15th quick. Now on the racetrack, you talk about this kid is just so good. Winner of the first 2 races of the year out of Lexington, North Carolina, in the LNR Transmissions, LeBlue Bottled Water, QMF Metal Fabrication PSR for Carson Lofton. Lofton, second quick first lap, 13.687. He's got to pick it up just a little bit. Can he do it? Carson Lofton, second lap, a little bit better, but not good enough. Carson Lofton, second quick, 13.628 for Carson Lofton. Oh, now on the racetrack. Locked him up a little bit going into turn number 1 out of Beaumont, Pennsylvania in the Double D Racing 21 VA. It's Jim Gavick. Gavick with 8 career starts on the RLC Modified Series. Now living down here, down south, comes over to South Boston Speedway, making his first start of the year. You should get ready with the pole sitter. Forget him. Gavick, 15.345, best lap on the second lap for Jim Gavick. And final car to qualify out of Waverly, New York. This kid has run B mods, he's run crate mods, he's run a whole bunch of different stuff, dirt and asphalt from the upstate New York region. The number 23 NY of Bryce Bailey out of Waverly, New York. Bailey had some good runs in the opener at Florence Motor Speedway. Had some difficulty earlier in the day with the power plant on that car, and it still shows here 14.204. Bryce Bailey, 26 quick for more than 30 cars today. And that will conclude Pace-O-Matic Pole Award qualifying. And on top of the board here today at South Boston Speedway, the 17-year-old kid out of Mooresville, North Carolina, and the Pace-O-Matic 7VA for Luke Baldwin. Put your hands together for that teenager today here at South Boston Speedway. Great run for Luke Baldwin here today. In fact, the teenagers looking strong, 1 and 2, Luke Baldwin and Carson Lofton. The redraw will happen here in just a minute for the Pace-O-Matic King of the Modifieds, powered by Dominion Energy. And right now, let's go down to DP.
Thanks a lot, Bob. You know, Luke Baldwin on the pole, one of his good buddies, Carson Lofton, right alongside. He's won the first 2 races. Is this becoming like a friendly rivalry with you? Now you gotta step it up.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, there's no one in this field I want to beat more than either him and now the 7NY. There's definitely, those are the 2 guys that I want to beat the most. But yeah, to be on the pole is super cool for this big event, and all these guys in this field. It's pretty incredible. But you know, it's still got a long 125 laps, got a lot of work to do, so can't let it get to my head too much, and we're going to hopefully go get us. We'll be in the same spot at the end of the 125, I hope.
Dad came over, gave you a big hug for putting it on the pole, but did you know you had a good pole run going when you were out there on the track?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone all day struggled tight, you know, center off. So we loosened it up a good bit for qualifying, and really going through 3 and 4 when I felt it turn like it did, I knew we had a really good shot, and then I got through 1 and 2. I think better than I've ever gotten through here. So after the first lap, I knew I had a good one and I had a little room to kind of go for it. So I went really hard. My second one kind of slipped up a bit and lost time, but you know, we had enough on the first one, so put us in a good spot for sure.
Well, Luke Baldwin is going to roll off on the pole. So he's the fast qualifier. After the redraw, we're going to find out where he is going to start. But Luke Baldwin really excited about today's run, and after talking with him earlier today, he said, you know, if it comes 7NY car out of the way to win the race.
And next up here at South Boston Speedway, the Dominion Energy redraw. The top 8 qualifiers will head down to the victory lane area. And Luke Baldwin, by virtue of his Pace-O-Matic Pole Award, will pull a pill out of a hat. And that will have a 4, a 6, or an 8 on it. And then after he does that, that amount of the top qualifiers will redraw for starting position.
You know, he talked about Doug, the 7NY. That's his dad's car. Of course, he wants to beat Doug Colby. But do you realize, you know, he and best friend Caleb Hetty in the 99 machine, they've been friends for a long time. This is the first time they've raced head-to-head in modified racing on a racetrack. So they're very excited. They've been talking a lot of smack back and forth.
Well, speaking of, you know, heads, I saw Caleb Hetty today, and he used to have the mullet.
Mm-hmm.
The mullet's gone. He's got a mustache right now, clean cut, haircut for Caleb Hetty. I was impressed. But he threw me for a loop because I didn't even recognize him.
He's fast with the mullet. You don't get rid of the mullet when you're winning.
Let's review Pace-O-Matic Pole Award qualifying here for the Smart Modified Tour. Luke Baldwin with the top time at 13.610. Carson Lofton, his buddy, second quick, the winner of the first 2 races of the year. Matt Hirschman, former winner here at South Boston Speedway in Smart competition, third quick. Jake Crum winds up fourth quick. He won the Pace-O-Matic Pole Award at Caraway just a few years ago. Will Lambros, fifth quick in that 77, and only his third start in a tour-type modified. The defending series champion Burt Myers, sixth quick, 13.811. Steven Kopchik winds up seventh quick in that number 1 machine. A good qualifying effort for him, and rounding out the top 8 in qualifying, Ryan Newman, 13.831 in that Shitty Coolers number 2. And yes, that is truly the name of that cooler company.
I wasn't going to say a word.
Rounding out the top 10 in qualifying, Jason Myers, who won 2 pole awards last year. The number 4 winds up 9th quick. And Woody Pitcat out of Stafford, Connecticut, rounds out the top 10. Doug Colby, by the way, just missing the top 10, 11th quick in qualifying. Want to invite you to go to the Smart Social as well as Short Track Life to follow all the action here today at South Boston Speedway. We'll take a quick break and come back with the redraw here at South Boston.
We ready for warm weather now.